like to introduce to you guys two people who Bethany and I have been able to spend the past couple of days with. And yeah, I don't know what he just said, but he had fun too. But Jonni and Fahamu are missionaries in Africa. They are in I can say this right, the Democratic Republic of Congo, in a city called Uvira. That's right, I got the R and the V mixed up. Uvira. And they are here today to share with us a lot about what they do. And also, Fahamu is going to share a testimony with us. But first, before they come up here, I think, you want to show the video first? Yeah? Okay. First, we're going to go ahead and show this quick little slideshow about some of the things that they do and what they are doing in this place. Fahamu is going to do his best to speak loud, right? And
he's very quiet.
He's kind of quiet. And if it's hard for you to understand him a little bit, I did put an insert in your bulletin that shares what he's going to share for the most part. Maybe not exactly word for word, but he's going to share his testimony a little bit. And so it's in there to follow along a little if it's hard to understand him. But he's going to do an awesome job, I'm sure. So there you go, buddy. Make sure you speak into it really well.
Okay. Good morning. I think this is nice. You can hear all of you?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Fahamu Kibambazi Fanuel. Congolese. I was born in 1983, and I grown up in a Christian family. And our family is a Christian family as well. My dad is a pastor and has been a pastor since he was 20 years old. Up now he's serving the Lord, and he works in a Bible translation to translate the Bible into my mother tongue. So he's helping in that. So we grown up in Christian values, and that has been helping us a lot. But even if we grow in a Christian family, in a Christian values, we had a big problem in the Congo during the war, which the war started in 1996. It's when I was 13 years old. So that time they killed many people in our villages, and we had to run to hide in the jungles, sleep there, stay there so you may not be killed. So we did 10 days in the jungles, just hiding. Sometimes there is no food. The little we had, we could just make little food and eat. And then when we decide so we can go forward in one town where it's called Uvira, where we live now, to hide there, the same night the war started again. So we had to run without any direction. So it was just running from the dead, so you may not be killed. So we could wake up when the gun was starting 8:03 in the morning. So we had to run. We don't know where we are going, what is the next step. So we just run, we don't know what is happening. And reaching there, where we stopped, we could stop 4 p.m. or 5, 6. It depends how we get tired. So reaching there, we make a little bit to eat. Again in the morning, they will start. So we had again to run. So, and we did that in a week, another week again. So there we was all of us tired. Our energy was over. We were saying now we are dying. So our hope was still there when we knew that the army is still there fighting. But the next morning, the gun started shooting. And we realized even the soldiers who was protecting us, they are running with us. And we say, wow, we are done. There is no more life. So we keep running. That day we walked for the whole day again. You can imagine my parents with 7 kids just going with them. We was little. I'm the third born in my family. And I just have the oldest brother and sister, and all of the other one behind me, they are children. So in running, one could hold my dad here, another one here, and another one here, and another one here, and 2 they hold mom. So we could just run. You can imagine there is no many things you could take like to run with. So when we reached there, we said, now we are dead. There is no hope anymore. Seeing the protection we had, which is the soldier, but the soldier now are running with us, it means we are gone. So we reach in one place after working like another week. We reach in one place and we said, this is enough. If it's to die, let us die. And in the same day, that God never forget his people. Even if we can forget, like in that time, it's hard even to remember that God exists. You are just running and you don't think about anything about God. But that time, God sent can say one people, and they say, go and tell this family they don't have to run anymore. Even if these people they are running, because we are now between lake and mountains. So there is nowhere else to run from. So these rebels are in the mountains and the lake is there. And we did not have enough money to pay the boat so we may cross to go to another country. And then the same time, that guy came and said, God said you don't have to run anymore. And he wants you to return back to your house. And he said, what? What are you talking about? And when that said, yeah, we have to listen. It's God who is speaking. We don't have to run anymore. I say, Dad, are you really sure for what you are asking? And the people were there, Pastor, are you crazy? Are you becoming crazy and foolish? How can you think about this? People are dying there and you want to go back? You will be, your family will be all killed. And that said, if it's God, I have to obey. And if it's him, better all of us to die. Because anyway, even if we go, we will die. Even if we stay here, we will die. But if God said to return, we will return. And the same in the morning, 2 a.m., the war started again in that place. And that say is enough. Let's hide in this place. If they pass, we will go back. And the war started around 2 p.m. We hide ourselves just in that place. And during 7 a.m., and let's say now they passed, let's go back. But going back, all of us was very scared. Even him, he was scared. He said, now I'm just trusting God, nothing else to do. So on the way coming back, it was so horrible. Everywhere there is bodies laying on the road. Everywhere. You are looking this side, there is body. You are even nearby, there is body. And dogs start eating the body laying there. And you say, Lord, what's this going on? Is this what we are expecting over there? And you could reach each 5 miles, you reach there, there is like the kind of fence the soldier, the rebel soldier they put. And they say, you go to this line, you go to this line, and they separate people. And wherever they go to this side, they just shoot them in your presence. They just shoot them and they die. And they say, you continue. You reach there the same. We reach there the same. We say, we are done. There is no more faith or to believe that we are going to be safe. But we really worked there. And after 2 days, we reach again in Uvira. And there it was really quiet. There is no people. All we can see soldiers and bodies just laying on street. And we say, this is terrible. So we said now we have to head back to our village, where we worked again 2 days. No resting, no food, everything was taken. Now reaching there, we say, life is difficult. Everything we had was gone. They take everything. Even clothes was taken. So we remain like the way we ran and then we came, there is nothing. So we had to start life from nothing. So my dad had little money and he said, now my son, what can we do? There is no life we have now to go find life in cultivating rice. I don't know if you ever see how they cultivate rice. So we go there in the morning. At 6, you are already up, and come back around 6 again p.m. You are coming back cultivating. So it was really painful, really painful. And sometimes we could say we don't have anything to eat. While parents they are cultivating, we could go in a small area where there is water, because in those fields where there is small water, you will find the small fishes there. So we have to take that old water off and get those fish. That was our dinner. And the morning, the life goes on like that. And my dad said, now there is many people coming back in the areas and the villages. There was 2 markets a week next to our villages, which was one in a Sunday and another one in a Thursday. So my dad said, there is no other option. Do you think you can manage an evening to buy 2 boxes of soap and go selling them to people into the market? Like you can see on the TV, there is people who have plastic bags. They are going selling that. So we did that with my brother. So we may survive. We may get something to eat. So we did that quite for 6 months. And while in that 6 months, parents, the other day we could go to field and cultivate, except Sunday and Thursday we could go to those markets. But in all that, God didn't give on us. He was always with us. And in 3 months, we cultivate corns. It was now the period of going to harvest those corns. And in a house, we have only one bicycle. We had bicycle. So me and my brother going there in the field to take those corns to come back, we found with 2 soldiers, the rebels. And they take us off the road. They put us in the jungle. And they say, you know what? You are dead. I say, why? That's all. And if you don't want to die, leave this bicycle here and run. If you look up behind, we will shoot you. So we had to run without looking anything. You were thinking about the bicycle. And we ran the whole way home. And we say, Dad, we are safe, but the bicycle is gone. Because they could find you, you have that bicycle, and they just shoot you, they take it. But it was just by grace which was not killed. And life goes on like that. And my brother said, this is enough. I have seen this a lot. If it's to suffer, I will go to suffer. But he couldn't tell the parents that. Dad could and mom couldn't. No, just be patient. We wake up one night in the morning, he was already gone. And he runs. But wherever he went in the other difficulties. And take the boat without knowing, he doesn't have money. And reaching in the same place, in the river and the lake, the rebels again, they take them. And they pull them over. And there he did like 2 weeks. And 2 weeks he escaped again and he ran up to Tanzania. So, and all of us, we was there surviving and trusting God. And after 6 months, really, God, he showed us he was with us. And in all the harvests we had enough harvest than we never expected from the field we had. And my dad said, you see what God is doing. But surrounding, there is a lot of needs. There is people who don't have what we have. And my dad said, you know, we need to share this. I remember we had like 5 kids coming and staying with us, eating everything, and my dad could just take them, my parents take them like they are kids. And Johnny have met them, some have now grown up people, and always respectful. And they say, thank you for all we have done. So leaving that, all things, there was a lot of orphans, widows, and surrounding there. And my dad say, this blessings is not for our own. We need to share with other people in need. So it's where our dad, they start showing us like examples in practically, not just in the biblical, how we could teach and teach us in our family, but he start putting into practice. And as kids, we grown up, we see that. And we say, wow, this is an amazing thing. We did not have anything, and you don't want to keep this to ourselves, but you want to share with other people. And that say, yeah, this is how we have to live like Christ-like. And he was so amazed. And all of us, we get that passion. Receiving those kids like our brothers. Wherever we are, even right now where we met, say my brothers. And even if we are not from the same father or mother, they just say my old brother. And we say my old brother, my young brother. That's how we call each other. And that has brought us together. And in 2008, it's where I got opportunity to go to a Christian training. I went in Tanzania, I learned, and in 2009, I came back to Congo. But during my time learning there, God reminds me, he took me back to all happened during the war. All that my parents did to help, and say, I want you to go to do the same. Go and help other people. So I came back, I told my parents, this is what I did. And in 2010, God told me, go to Rwanda. So myself, I was scared. God, why are you asking me to go to Rwanda? Is Rwandese who came to kill people in the Congo, and you want me to go to Rwanda? What do you want from me? It was really hard decision to make. But anyway, even when I talked to my dad, and my dad said, is really God talking to you? I say, yes. And sometimes it takes a time, and they say, maybe you are wrong. And we say, no. And Dad say, okay, if it's God, let's pray for it. And then I went to Rwanda. I was scared. I say, how am I going to survive there? But I didn't know God's plan. He already told me, help people. Maybe he wants me to help people in Rwanda as well. So I decided to go. I work as a missionary in Rwanda from 2010 up to 2013. And my last year of missionary in Rwanda, it's when God sent Johnny's team to come to Rwanda. And we meet there. God speak to each other. But was kind of really God. I said yes. And I took 1 week off. I went back to Congo. And I say, no, if she's present here, I cannot pray and say really it's him. I went back to Congo. I took the prayer time. I really prayed. And the guy say, I told God, give me one proof if it's you. And he say, you don't have to ask me because she knows already. And I say, okay, how did she know? She had a dream. I say, okay, but God give me one condition. Don't go run into it. Give it time. It will come itself. And of course, God was speaking to her the same. And once we shared, we found really it was God's will. And we say, okay, let's pray for it. It's when she came here. And then I say, okay. And once we shared with our parents, everything was happy for that. And say, okay, And once I shared with my leaders, they supported me. They say, this is God's will, go for it. So in my time in Rwanda, I did not expect to get anything or to gain anything. It was just helping people. And later I realized God sent me there for the purpose. So the purpose was to meet her and brought her back to my home and help more people. And that's why now we are married. It's now 1 year we are married, and we are serving together in the Congo. And that is amazing. And I learned in everything it's only God who can protect us and who is there for us. And all my hopes, all my trust, after seeing what I saw, I say I cannot just leave it, the blessings to myself, but we need to share with other people. And once I shared my heart with her, for my nation, for the people there, she said, I support you 100%. And we will go together to serve that nation. And that is what we are doing. And maybe she's gonna say it, you saw the pictures about the ministry. She's gonna say a little bit and how she has been experiencing as well the life in Congo.
Yeah, so I've been in the Congo for a year now, and I think when I went there, I had these high expectations, like we're gonna do this and this and this and this and this, but it's what I wanted to do. I got my degree in education, so education is really important to me. So I said, oh, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna start a school, da-da-da-da, and when I got there I realized this is a lot harder than just saying I'm gonna start something. And as you saw, we do a lot of village ministry, and I had never really been comfortable speaking, like preaching to people. I never thought that was something I could ever do. I didn't go to seminary, but God can use anyone to do anything. And so we went to the village, I think it was like 2 months after we got married. We went up 10 days in these villages, and I got there and I looked around. It's like, okay, because I love camping, but this is nothing like camping. These people, this is how they live every day. So we did leadership training there, but I saw this just joy these people had. Like we're talking about joy today, but they had joy, but they had nothing, and they would serve me, they'd bring food in, and I said, oh, I really like beans. So every meal, there was beans, because they knew I liked it. And they went above and beyond what I thought they could or would do for me, but I'm the one there that's supposed to be blessing them, but in return, they were blessing me. And so we go to the villages, and we're teaching basically discipleship, like who's Jesus, and how should we follow him? And as leaders in the church, how should we train others? And then I realized, I was looking around, and I realized none of them had Bibles. You said, open your Bibles to Jeremiah. You don't hear a sound. Usually when you say open your Bibles, you hear the page is turning, but there was nothing. And so I asked Fahamu about it afterwards, and he's like, no one has Bibles up here. I was like, well, how are we supposed to teach these people if they don't have the Bible? And that's what's so important about the pastors, because they luckily have a Bible. So the pastors are these people that, I guess can say have so much power. And they have to learn how to use that. They have to know what's the truth in the Bible. And so that's one of our goals, is to go and teach these people what the Bible says. They may not have Bibles, but they have God. God can speak to them. And so that's one of our things, leadership training. Really training the pastors what it means to be a pastor. Probably ask Jared and some of you that have been in church a long time. It's more than just standing up in front of people and preaching. There's a lot that goes into it. And so just teaching them how to be men. Most of them are men, but godly men. And even the women there, like telling them it's okay to be leaders in the church too. Like you have a voice and it's important. And I did a couple women's Bible studies, and there's so many women in these villages and with their kids, and just teaching them who God is and that God loves them. Like Fahamu said, like they've been through so much tragedy tragedy in their life. And for me to come in there, sometimes it's hard because I have no idea what they went through. Like, I've heard his stories, but I can only imagine like the pain and the suffering they went through. And so we're trying to say, like, Jesus, he's the answer. Like, if you're angry, turn to Jesus. Forgive. Like, Jesus forgave. Like, he died on the cross for us. And so trying to turn their suffering and their hardships into this joy and the peace and the hope and the love. And Advent is perfect for what we're trying to do because they've been through so much. And we have widows ministry. We have weekly Bible studies with the widows. And I have to say, that has become my favorite. At first, I was like, I don't want to go. I have nothing in common with them. I'm married. I don't have kids. And they have brought so much like joy into my life. We heard their stories, and most of them lost children during the war. Some ladies were like, yeah, I have no idea what happened to my kids. The war started. I haven't heard from my kids since. I don't know if they're dead, what happened. And I was like, what? Like, we have Facebook here, like, just look them up on Facebook, you know, put their name in, or put their photo, you know. So, like, for me, it's so hard to understand, but they've lost so much, but they come during this week, and we ask them questions, and they'll answer. And one lady says, she's like, this is my family. This group is my family. And I was like, whoa, you know, thank you. And some of them, well, most of them, I think one husband ran away, but the rest husbands have died. And their husband like got sick one day, and then a week later it was dead. You know, and they don't have the medical care. And so that's one thing we want to do, is be able to provide medical for these ladies. One of them has diabetes, but she can't get her medicine because she can't afford it. And all she eats are cassava roots. She boils them, and that's what she eats. But she has diabetes, and you can see it in her hands. They're swollen, her feet are swollen. But she has to work, because she doesn't work, she gets no money, and she can't feed her kids. And so some of this stuff, I just look, and I'm like, okay, God, why'd you send me here? This is too hard. Like, I can't look at these ladies. And sometimes we have nothing for them, but then they're like, we just love hearing about the Lord and being together in fellowship. I'm like, okay, God, I see this is what's important, is the fellowship. Like, yes, I would love to bless them with a house and all this stuff, but they don't need that. But what they really, really need is the Lord and his salvation. And we even have one Muslim lady in our group, and she comes, and she was in one of the pictures. She has one of the prettiest smiles, and she's so thankful. She's like, you guys are taking care of me. And we had someone donate money so we could buy them all food, and so we surprised them and bought them rice and oil. And that lady, I think it was that lady, she comes up to us and she goes, today I ran out of food. This morning I didn't have any food left, and you guys are here giving me food. And so it's just those things, little small things that I see the joy that these ladies have and like what they're giving me in return. We also have sports ministry, and our friend Marcella, he's kind of in charge of that. And we try to get these boys, they're mostly boys that play soccer, they love soccer in Africa. Try to get them off the streets, give them something else to do, because some of them will go join the rebel groups. You know, they have parents that lived through the war. They say, oh, these people are bad people, go fight them, you know, go do this. And there's a lot of anger and hate, and we don't want these kids to have anger or hate. So we go and we play football, and we let them run around, and we tell them about Jesus, and just say, like, there's no reason to hate your enemies, like, love them. What else do we do? Orphans, that's right. We also do orphans, and right now we're sponsoring 27 to go to school, and that's really amazing, just seeing these kids, because I love education. I mean, I think I was one of the weird kids. I was like, yeah, school's coming, and I got like really excited for school, and I love learning, and I think I took it for granted growing up, you know, and these kids, they'll do anything to go to school, but you have to pay. You can't just go to school for free, and so we're really trying to change this community through education. If these kids learn and can read and write, they can see that there's corruption. They'll know, you know, and they can actually do something about it because they're educated. And so that's one of our goals, is to educate as many kids, adults. We want to start adult groups for those, because when the war happened, a lot of people stopped going to school. You know, they couldn't afford it, or the women just, you know, went and hid from the captors and stuff. And so we want to start educating everyone. have women's reading and men's reading. And so that's kind of our ministries that we're doing now. I mean, I have tons of things I want to do. I have like, I want to do this and this and this and this, but I have to really think practical. And we have some practical ideas of how we can raise money and keep money coming in. We want to have a pig farm and a chicken farm, and so that'll give money for the orphans. Right now we have a cassava machine, which I told you that lady eats cassava roots. They take the cassava roots, they grind them up, and they make a flour, and everyone in the Congo eats cassava bread. It's like a staple. And so someone donated enough money for a machine, and that money goes for a widow's health care. So if they need medicine or one of their kids is sick, we try to help as much as we can. It doesn't cover all the costs, but it covers a little bit. And so that's kind of our goal, is to really give back to this community. They've been through so much. Like the first time I heard Fahamu's story, I was like, how are you so nice? Like, how do you love people? How do you have hope? Like, I get mad when I hear it, I'm like, oh. And so his family is like this example of how we want the Congolese people to be, is be willing to love one another, love the Rwandese who came in, and killed a lot of their family members. And there's women who have been raped, and men who've been killed. And our friend up there, Marcella, he watched his dad get shot to death right in front of his eyes. But he has this love and this joy, and that's what we want to bring to all these people. And most of it is just telling them about who Jesus is saying, this is who Jesus is. He suffered too. He was on a cross, but he still has love for us. And so that's our main goal, is we really want to change this country and help them realize, like, they're great people. And like, yes, you may be poor, but like, Jesus still loves you, and he's always going to love you, and you're rich in his eyes. And so kind of what we were talking about this morning, actually when we were talking this morning, I was like, this is exactly what they need to hear, is the joy of the Lord. So yeah, that's basically us. After this, we're having questions. So if you have, during free time.
Q&A.
Oh, Q&A, not free time. Q&A time, so.
We're at camp.
Yeah. Okay, here's the pastor. Oh.
Why don't you come up here for a second? I just wanted to ask a couple of questions, because I've learned a lot more than they've even been able to share. So I thought I'd ask a couple of leading questions so you guys could hear a couple of things real quick. One was, how many churches would you say that you guys kind of look after or teach and pastor over a little bit?
For now, we have 58 churches.
58 churches.
But there is more churches who want to be part of.
Right. Fahamu was telling me that they're constantly having people. I mean, these are sort of, denomination is probably a little bit more loose there. So it's not so much like, here we're so like, if you're not part of my denomination, I'm not going to talk to you. But they always have pastors that come up and go, we need help, we need, because you said that some of the pastors have Bibles, but I also heard you say that some of the pastors don't.
Yeah.
That part of the importance of some of this pastoral and leadership training is that some of these pastors who don't even have a Bible, they just teach what they have learned. And so it's so important for them to get good training and good, honest stuff about God, so that they're not teaching wrong things, which probably still happens a lot. And that's part of the thing that I think that they're trying to help us with a lot. What was the other thing?
Yeah, and some of these, like, these out there pygmies, they're like little, they're shorter people. And we met one pastor that didn't even know how to read. So, and he had a, what was it? Jehovah Witness.
Oh, Jehovah Witness Bible.
Jehovah Witness Bible, but he can't read. So there's so much to be done, but we asked, how do you lead your services? And he goes, oh, we pray a lot. We ask other pastors to come in, or he's like, from what I've heard in the past, I just teach on that. And I was shocked. I was like, whoa, okay. So that's just one example of.
It's definitely a culture where God's just kind of saying, hey, I need you to lead, and they're just stepping up to it. No training, really going out, really on a huge limb of faith. And so one of the things that we've been talking about doing is eventually doing a Bible drive for them, But a key to that is that your dad he said his dad was a pastor earlier, but even more than that, what his dad has been doing is he's working with a company called Wycliffe, which is a publishing company. And his dad is working with Wycliffe to translate the Old Testament right now. They're done with the New Testament, right? But they're translating the Old Testament into your tribal language, which is, what's it called again?
Fuliru.
Frulilu. I can't even pronounce it. But they're working on the Old Testament, and they think that probably in about a year you'll be done with it, which will be an awesome time to really do a drive so that we can actually get this into people's hands. Because that is a huge, part of it also is that they need to be able to read it, but I think that even being able to distribute that will be a huge help for them. And so we're kind of working at some of those plans, and so we'll talk more about all that too. But it's really great for you guys to be able to share this, because now we kind of know how we can help and what we are doing when we do help. And one of the things that we've talked about a little bit so that you guys know is that it's really difficult to get things there. And so it's much easier for us to just, because when you donate literally just money, there's no off the top or anything. We're literally giving them. It's like if we donated $100, I would literally be giving them a $100 bill for them to go and do things with, instead of there being any overhead or anything else for that money to be chipped away to like $30 by the time it gets to them. So that's an amazing thing. But you don't waste any money on shipping, or it takes a month or more to get things to them. So when we send anything, we certainly couldn't send you cookies, because it would not be cookies by the time it got to you, right? So some no bakes, I don't know. But we can't, so we're limited in a lot of ways for what we can do with them. But money is always something that will help them, because they can actually use U.S. currency there. So even though you have Congolese francs, right? Everyone accepts U.S. dollars, and so that is actually a huge, amazing plus for what we can do to help you guys.
You don't have to do the exchange, yeah.
Yeah,
So there's no
and
exchange.
sometimes when you do exchanges in a corrupt country, you lose a lot of value in your money, because they just take it off the top. Or they could just decide not to give you any money. You hand them money and they just don't give you any money. And another thing with sending things is, you guys were telling me, what happens sometimes when you send stuff?
Sometimes they get stolen, like they'll open it. We've been really lucky that hasn't happened to us. But when they get to the post office, they open it and look through it. So sometimes things can get stolen. We had one, they weren't the smartest, but we had a lady, her family sent her a laptop, but it was just in the laptop case, and so it disappeared somewhere. And so that stuff happens, and then we have to also, when things get shipped, we have to pay to pick it up. So we have to pay like $6 or $8 just to pick it up.
Just to pick it up, not the shipping part. That's in addition to the shipping. They have to actually pay
So
money.
like
to
my
pick
mom
it up.
sent something once, and she put it inside, and like we couldn't get inside to get the money to pay them, but luckily we had. So we could. Yeah.
So, and one thing that I think is important also is that money-wise, things are probably very obvious, but things are very cheap there, right? So, especially
Food in general is
very cheap.
very cheap.
So they, let's maybe to put in perspective, if it's okay for me to share your rent.
Yeah.
Okay. To put it in perspective, how big is the place you guys are in?
Well, it's 2-bedroom, like 1.5 bath.
Mhm.
It's not huge. It's
Right,
a
no,
smaller,
yes.
but
Well, you could probably imagine what that might cost here. And of course, their place is not probably perfect or anything, but what we pay for our house is $700 a month, and they pay $100 a month. So it's absolutely an affordable thing for us, but for them, they're working 2 days and making what, like $5? So the amount of money that they make compared to that, but what that shows us is that a $30 bill there's no $30 bill, but $30 from us would go a huge long way for them. And that is really a joyful thing, honestly, because that means that for us, we can help them in such huge, huge ways. And so I think that's really... Yeah. Oh yeah. They can. No, they can do checks, and we're actually working on a way to.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if things mysteriously get in place, right?
Yeah.
Does not the same thing happen with sending you money? Or,
We do it through Western Union,
Yeah.
okay.
and we haven't had a problem
Okay.
with it at all.
So is it maybe like directly bank to bank, or is it still through the mail?
So the bank to bank, it's so expensive
Okay.
because African banks, they are kind of, there is that corruption.
Okay,
So the easier way is Western Union.
okay.
Yeah, on Western Union you go, there's no other one who can go to pick it up. But on the bank system, themselves, they can send it to another direction, and even in your account will not get anything. Or like it costs so much to send bank to the bank.
Okay.
Better Western Union.
And the banks are also kind of corrupt. So if you send, let's say like someone sends $100 to us, they could say, oh, we get 50%, you know, and
Right,
And
right.
there's no repercussion. They have government, but it's almost like they don't have government.
Okay.
It's really like Wild West for them in a lot of ways. I mean, he was telling me a story where, or maybe you told me that, you know, there was all this noise outside, and they looked outside, and this guy was just getting beat up, and Fahamu said that he's a thief, and they're punishing the thief. And so there's the police, and unless it's a really major case or something, there's no justice. And so it's very Wild West feeling in that sense that they just kind of have to do with what they do. And he was, I mean, we can talk a little bit more about some of these questions maybe in the Q&A, but
Once we get a cookie.
yeah, when you get some cookie and some pie. But one thing I wanted to also share real quick that you didn't share, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but that it's so hard in terms of justice and stuff, like we were saying, that there's been instance after instance after instance that they've tried to kill your father and have failed in many, many ways. And definitely, you know, he's telling me these stories, and it's definitely the grace of God in the ways that they have failed, and in the ways that actually the failure of those assassins have almost been brought to God in those ways. And it's been really, really crazy. So his family is definitely doing some amazing things there, and I'm almost going to cry here. But it's just really neat. So go ahead and go sit down, guys.